Hi, welcome to my video on find the equation of a quadratic given the roots. And I'm going to use what I call the reverse method, part 1. And the reverse method is working backwards from the square root property. Here we go, or backwards from factoring. Find the equation ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0 given the roots. So we have two roots, 2 and a negative 3. Two roots gives us a quadratic, so you let each root equal 0, and you move the root 2 to the left side, make it negative. Remove the negative 3 to the left side and make it positive. So if these two are factors that give you these roots, we're working backwards, so that means that x minus 2 times x plus 3 is equal to 0. And if we do the FOIL on these two binomials, first is x times x squared. Outside is 3 times x. Inside is negative 2 times x. And the last is negative 2 times 3 is negative 6. And if we add up the like terms, add up the x's, and we have the quadratic equation that has those two roots. So we're working, I call it reverse or backwards. So you're letting each of the factors, x equals each of the factors, and then move it to the left side and express it as a product. And b, 1/4, x is 1/4, or x is 2/3. That's your two roots. So if you put the x over 1, then you can cross multiply. So 4 times x is 4x equals 1 times 1 is 1. And 3 times x is 3x, and 1 times 2 is 2. So putting the x over 1 allows you to cross multiply your two fractions. That means 4x minus 1 equals 0, or 3x minus 2 is equal to 0. And let's go up here. We multiply. If each of those are equal to 0, then their products are equal to 0. And so we do the FOIL again. First is 12x squared. Outside is negative 8x. Inside is negative 3x. And the last is a plus 2. And we add up the like terms. Negative 8x. Negative 3x is a negative 11x plus 2. So that's the quadratic that has those two roots. Notice we're working in reverse. Now, if we have a root which is the square root of 5, then there's also another one as the negative square root of 5 because they're conjugates. That means x equals root 5, or x equals negative root 5. So x minus root 5 equals 0, or x plus root 5 equals 0. And so x minus root 5 times x plus root 5 equals 0. And I'm going to go up here. I'm going to do the FOIL on these two. So x times x is x squared. X times positive root 5 is positive root 5x. And negative root 5 times x is negative root 5x. And a negative root 5 times a positive root 5 is a negative 5. Because any square root multiplied by itself gives you what's underneath the root. Equals 0. And notice that the middle terms cancel out, so we get x squared minus 5 equals 0. And notice one root is the conjugate of the other. D, I have a negative 3i, so there's also a second one, which is called a positive 3i. So we let x equal negative 3i, or x equals 3i, and that gives me x plus 3i equals, I didn't mean to put the brackets there, sorry. So this x plus 3i equals 0, or x minus 3i equals 0. So if these are equal to 0, so x plus 3i times x minus 3i equals 0, because if each one of these are equal to 0, then the product is also equal to 0. And we do the FOIL. X times x is x squared. X times negative 3i is negative 3ix. 3i times x is a positive 3ix. And a negative 3i times a positive 3i times a negative 3i gives me a negative 9i squared. And again, the two middle terms cancel out, and we get x squared. So notice that a negative 9i squared is a negative 9 times negative 1, because I squared is negative 1. So that's a plus 9 equals 0. So that's the equation. Ax squared, notice that the b is 0, because these add up to give you 0. So x squared plus 9 equals 0 gives you these two roots. And e, I have a negative root 3 over 4, so the positive root 3 over 4 is its conjugate. So we get x equals negative root 3 over 4, or x equals positive root 3 over 4. So x minus, okay, let's go this way. Let's put it over 1, because we've got a fraction. So 4 times x is 4x equals negative root 3. Put it over 1, and we get cross multiply 4 times x, 1 times root 3. So that gives me 4x plus root 3 equals 0, or 4x minus root 3 equals 0. And we do the product of those two. And just a matter of rewriting it backwards, taking your time. Now we do the FOIL. 4x times 4x is 16x squared. 4x times a negative root 3 is a negative 4 root 3x. Root 3 times 4x is a positive 4 root 3x. And a negative times a positive is a negative. Root 3 times root 3 is 3. And again, the middle terms cancel out because they're plus and minus. So we get 16x squared minus 3 equals 0. Is the equation, quadratic equation, starting with degree 2, that has these two roots. So that's some examples. Working in reverse order. Reverse order. So if you were factoring, if you're solving equation, you would go, just to mention it, just point that out again. If you were solving this equation, you would write it as factors of these two, and then you let each of those equal 0, and you solve it out, and you will come up with these two roots. But now we're working the reverse order. And practice. Let's do these four. Find the equation ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0 given the roots. So x equals negative 4, or x equals 6. X plus 4 equals 0, or x minus 6 equals 0. And x plus 4 times x minus 6 is equal to 0. And we multiply that out by FOIL. X squared minus 6x plus 4x minus 24 equals 0. So x times x is x squared. X times negative 6, negative 6x. 4 times x is 4x. And 4 times negative 6 is 24. And we add up the x's. So negative 6x and 4x is negative 2x minus 24 equals 0. So that's the quadratic equation that has these two roots. And again, if you take these two roots and plug them in one at a time, you will verify that this equation is true. And we have two more roots, so we let x equal negative 2 over 5, or x equals negative 7 over 3. Put it over 1, cross multiply. 5x equals negative 2. Put over 1, cross multiply. 3x equals 7. So 5x plus 2 equals 0, or 3x minus 7 equals 0. So let's go up here. So 5x plus 2 times 3x minus 7 is equal to 0. And we do the FOIL. 15x times 3x. So 5x times 3x is 15x squared. 5x times negative 7 is negative 35x. Inside is 2 times 3x is plus 6x. And 2 times negative 7 is negative 14. and we add up our like terms. Negative 35 and 6 is a negative 29x minus 14 equals 0. So that's the quadratic equation that has those roots. And number 3, we have a negative 2 root 3. So the conjugate is 2 root 3 because there's two roots. One is plus and one is minus. So we let x equal negative 2 root 3, or we let x equals 2 root 3. So x plus 2 root 3 equals 0, or x minus 2 root 3 is equal to 0. And we go up here to multiply. X plus 2 root 3 times x minus 2 root 3 equals 0. And we do the FOIL. X times x, x squared. X times negative 2 root 3, negative 2 root 3x. 2 root 3 times x is a positive 2 root 3x. And we have a negative times a positive is negative. Now we're going to multiply these two right here. So 2 times 2 is 4. Root 3 times root 3 is 3. So that gives me a 12. And we add up the like terms. But you notice they give you 0. So you get a negative 12. So x squared minus 12 is the quadratic equation that has those two roots. And we have number 4. We got a 4i, so its conjugate is a negative 4i. So we let x equal 4i, or x equals negative 4i. X minus 4i equals 0. X plus 4i equals 0. That means that x minus 4i times x plus 4i is equal to 0. So notice we're working backwards. And the FOIL is x times x, x squared. X times positive 4x is a positive 4ix. Negative 4i times x is a negative 4ix. And what we have is a negative times a negative is positive. 4 times 4 is 16. I times I is I squared. And we have an x squared plus 4ix minus 4ix cancels out. And just to go over here, we have a negative 16i squared, so that's negative 16. And I squared is negative 1, so that gives us a plus 16 equals 0. So that's the quadratic equation that gives you those two. Notice all the roots that I've done now are monomial roots with their conjugates. So these are two monomials, these are two monomials, these are monomial conjugates, and these are monomial conjugates. So that's with monomial conjugates. So the next video I'll have binomial conjugates. So that's going reverse method. I call it going backwards, reversing. If you like my video, click the like button, subscribe button, and the notification bell because more videos are coming. Visit my math website, www.mathfullyexplained.com, to find more information about me, my videos, and the content. And that's the content that's on my YouTube channel called Math Fully Explained. Thank you for viewing my video. Bye-bye.